Jerusalem is a city steeped in history, a place where the past and present intertwine seamlessly. It's a place where different cultures and religions have converged for millennia, creating a unique tapestry of human civilization. Long before the Crusades, Jerusalem held a profound significance for Jews, Christians, and Muslims alike, each group finding deep spiritual meaning within its walls. For Jews, it was the city of David, a symbol of their ancient heritage and the heart of their spiritual identity. It was the site of their ancient temple, the center of their religious life and worship. This was the place chosen by God, a sacred ground that held immense religious significance. For Christians, Jerusalem was the city of Jesus' crucifixion and resurrection, events that are central to their faith. It became a center of pilgrimage, drawing believers from all corners of the world to walk in the footsteps of Christ. The Church of the Holy Sepulchre was built over the site of these events, becoming a beacon of Christian faith. This further solidified Jerusalem's sanctity, making it a pivotal location for Christian worship. In the 7th century CE, Jerusalem gained another layer of religious significance with the rise of Islam, adding to its already rich spiritual heritage. Muslims believe that the Prophet Muhammad made a miraculous night journey from Mecca to Jerusalem, a journey that holds great importance in Islamic tradition. From Jerusalem, he ascended to heaven, an event that is deeply revered in Islam. This event, known as the Night Journey or Miraj, is commemorated by the Dome of the Rock, a stunning architectural marvel. The Dome of the Rock is one of Islam's holiest shrines, a symbol of faith and devotion. It stands on the Temple Mount, a site that is sacred to all three Abrahamic religions. The presence of these sacred sites made Jerusalem a point of contention, a city coveted by many. Control of the city shifted between empires and dynasties, each leaving its mark on Jerusalem's storied landscape. Despite these changes, the city remained a powerful symbol, a testament to its enduring spiritual significance. It was a symbol of faith and a focal point for religious devotion, drawing pilgrims and believers from around the world. These factors set the stage for the Crusades, a series of religious wars that would forever alter the course of history. The Crusades would engulf Jerusalem in centuries of conflict, leaving a lasting impact on the city and its people. In the 11th century, the Byzantine Empire, which controlled much of the eastern Mediterranean, faced a growing threat from the Seljuk Turks. This once mighty empire, known for its rich culture and strategic importance, was now under siege. The Seljuk Turks were a powerful Muslim dynasty, known for their military prowess and strategic acumen. They had recently converted to Islam, which further solidified their unity and purpose. Their expansion into Anatolia, the heartland of the Byzantine Empire, alarmed the Byzantine Emperor, Alexios I Komnenos. The loss of this crucial region threatened the very existence of his empire. Emperor Alexios appealed to Pope Urban II for military assistance, hoping to rally the Christian West to his cause. The Pope responded with a call for a crusade, a holy war to reclaim the lost territories and defend Christendom. This call reverberated throughout Europe, stirring the hearts and minds of many. At the Council of Clermont in 1095, Pope Urban delivered a rousing speech, passionately urging Christian knights to take up arms. He urged Christian knights to take up arms, promising them spiritual rewards and the absolution of sins. He called upon them to liberate Jerusalem from Muslim rule, a city of immense religious significance to Christians. The Pope's motivations were complex, driven by both spiritual and political factors. He was driven by a desire to aid the Byzantines, who were fellow Christians in dire need. He also saw an opportunity to heal the schism between the Eastern and Western Christian churches, hoping to bring unity to Christendom. Additionally, he aimed to unite Christian Europe under his leadership, strengthening the papacy's influence. The prospect of reclaiming the Holy Land from Muslim control resonated deeply with many Christians who viewed it as a sacred mission. They viewed it as their sacred duty, a divine calling that could not be ignored. Urban's call to arms ignited a wave of religious fervor, spreading like wildfire across the continent. Tens of thousands of people, from humble peasants to powerful lords, heeded the Pope's summons, driven by faith and the promise of eternal glory. They embarked on a perilous journey east, driven by a potent mix of religious zeal, economic ambition, and a thirst for adventure, forever changing the course of history. The First Crusade, despite its chaotic nature, proved remarkably successful. The Crusaders, fueled by religious zeal and aided by internal divisions within the Muslim world, captured Jerusalem in 1099. This victory was seen as a divine endorsement of their cause. The siege of Jerusalem was brutal and bloody, lasting for weeks and testing the resolve of both the attackers and the defenders. The Crusaders stormed the city on July 15, 1099, breaching its formidable walls after intense fighting. What followed was a massacre, an event that would be remembered for its sheer brutality. Unrestrained by their leaders, the Crusaders slaughtered thousands of the city's inhabitants, leaving a trail of carnage in their wake. The streets ran red with blood. Men, women, and children were put to the sword, regardless of their faith, in a frenzy of violence. This act of barbarity shocked even some Crusaders, who had not anticipated such a level of bloodshed. It solidified the image of Christian aggression in the Muslim world, creating a deep-seated animosity that would last for generations. The capture of Jerusalem marked a turning point in the history of the Crusades, symbolizing both a triumph and a tragedy. With Jerusalem under their control, the Crusaders established the Latin Kingdom of Jerusalem, a feudal state ruled by Christian kings. This new kingdom was a beacon of hope for many European Christians. The city underwent a dramatic transformation, reflecting its new rulers' religious and cultural influences. Mosques were converted into churches, and Christian pilgrims flocked to the holy sites, now under Crusader control. The city became a center of Christian worship and pilgrimage. However, the Crusader victory proved short-lived, as maintaining control over Jerusalem and the surrounding territories became increasingly difficult. The Muslim world, initially caught off guard by the ferocity of the First Crusade, gradually unified in its opposition to the Crusader presence in the Holy Land. This unity would eventually lead to the recapture of Jerusalem. Saladin, the Kurdish Sultan of Egypt and Syria, emerged as a formidable opponent to the Crusader states. A brilliant military strategist and a devout Muslim, Saladin united the Muslim forces in the Levant and decisively defeated the Crusader army at the Battle of Hattin in 1187. This victory paved the way for Saladin's recapture of Jerusalem later that year. Unlike the Crusaders, Saladin allowed the city's Christian inhabitants to leave peacefully after paying a ransom. He also permitted the Church of the Holy Sepulchre to remain in Christian hands, demonstrating a level of religious tolerance that stood in stark contrast to the brutality of the First Crusade. Saladin's conquest of Jerusalem sent shockwaves throughout Europe, prompting calls for a Third Crusade, led by European monarchs like Richard the Lionheart. While the Third Crusade managed to recapture some Crusader territories, Jerusalem remained under Muslim control, a testament to Saladin's military and political acumen. Section 5, Shifting Sands, Jerusalem under Ottoman rule. The Crusades ultimately failed to achieve their primary objective of maintaining long-term Christian control over the Holy Land. By the late 13th century, the Crusader states had crumbled, and Jerusalem fell under the control of the Mamluks, a powerful dynasty centered in Egypt. In the 16th century, the Ottoman Empire, under the leadership of Sultan Selim I, conquered the Mamluk Sultanate, bringing Jerusalem under Ottoman rule. The Ottomans, known for their administrative efficiency and relative religious tolerance, ushered in a period of relative stability in Jerusalem. They undertook significant architectural projects in the city, including the expansion of the city walls and the restoration of its holy sites. Jerusalem thrived as a center of trade and pilgrimage during the Ottoman era. The Ottomans allowed Jews and Christians to practice their faiths relatively freely, although they were subject to certain restrictions and taxes. However, the seeds of future conflict were sown in the 19th century with the rise of Zionism, a movement advocating for the establishment of a Jewish homeland in Palestine and the increasing European interest in the region. In 1947, the United Nations proposed a partition plan to resolve the conflict between Jews and Arabs in Palestine. The plan suggested the creation of separate Jewish and Arab states, with Jerusalem as an international city. However, this proposal was met with mixed reactions, leading to the outbreak of the 1948 Arab-Israeli War. The war ended with the establishment of the State of Israel, but it also resulted in significant displacement and ongoing tensions in the region. After the 1948 war, Jerusalem was divided into two parts: West Jerusalem, controlled by Israel, and East Jerusalem, controlled by Jordan. This division lasted until the Six-Day War in 1967, when Israel captured East Jerusalem and declared the city unified. Despite this, the issue of Jerusalem's status remains a contentious point in Israeli-Palestinian relations, with both sides claiming it as their capital. The occupation of East Jerusalem by Israel has been a subject of international debate and controversy. According to international law, the annexation of East Jerusalem is considered illegal, and the United Nations has repeatedly called for the withdrawal of Israeli forces. Yet, Israel maintains its claim over the entire city, citing historical and religious connections. This ongoing conflict has implications for peace efforts and the daily lives of Jerusalem's residents. Jerusalem is a city that embodies faith, conflict, and hope. It is a place where history and spirituality are deeply intertwined, but also where political and social tensions are ever present. Despite the challenges, many believe that Jerusalem can be a symbol of coexistence and peace. The city's diverse communities continue to strive for a future where all can live together in harmony, respecting each other's heritage and beliefs.